Next, we're going to talk about how to build interpersonal relationships while you're in nursing school. So interpersonal relationships may not have been front of mind for you when you thought about what am I going to need to thrive in nursing school, but it's really important to recognize that you are not in school in a silo. You are not in nursing school all by yourself. A lot of your courses will require group projects and peer evaluation and working in pairs and working in groups of 3 and so on. Some students enjoy this, some students enjoy it a little bit less, but keep in mind that you are not in nursing school all by yourself. And in some ways that's a very, very good thing because you have the support of your peers. In other ways, some students don't prefer that. They would rather just do the work on their own and get credit for what they do and not have to collaborate in a group because of all of the complexity of a group project. But whether you like it or not, group projects are nursing school reality. And working with your peers is a reality of nursing school, and it really can be wonderful. It's important to have that clear communication and expectations when you are working with a group, for example. You don't have to be the leader to say, hey, so before we finish up discussing this as a group, can we just identify what each person is going to do and by what date? And I think everybody really appreciates that clarity and that responsibility, and it can avoid some conflicts down the road. So another thing to remember, and this is really important, is in terms of creating those interpersonal relationships, everywhere you go, whether you're sitting in a classroom, whether you're in the lab, or whether you're in the hospital, you are creating a reputation for yourself. And this isn't supposed to sound threatening. This is supposed to be a reminder that the way you compose yourself, the way that you behave, the way you interact with others, paints a picture of what others see in you and how they see you as a future nurse. So this really rolls down to your clinical collaboration skills. So a lot of times in the hospital setting and in the community setting and practicing as a nurse, you have to talk to other people. You have to have hard discussions with other people. And it is a skill to collaborate with others. So really keeping that in mind, that no matter where you are, people are watching. People are watching to see, like, wow, look at that student. They just took initiative. They could have just sat there and kind of, maybe charted a little bit, but they got up and they talked to this nurse and they asked for, this opportunity to do an extra assessment, for example. So your clinical instructors are watching, your didactic and lab instructors are watching, patients are watching, and facility leadership is watching, and other nurses that are in the clinical setting are watching. And you never know who is going to be really impressed with you, and that you later on, when you need that letter of recommendation to apply for a position or to get an externship position, that they're going to be so excited to write that for you because they have this one example of when you were just stellar. So keep in mind that building those relationships from day one, really, from the first day of nursing school through graduation and so on, you're creating those relationships and you're creating your own reputation, and that can really serve you well throughout your career. And then another thing to think about, if you're an introvert or if you are what some people would identify as just shy, that is okay. That is 100% fine. And again, on the opposite, if you're an extrovert, that doesn't mean you're going to automatically be good at this either. So communication at this level, and specifically communication as a nurse, is really a skill, and it's knowledge base that you are developing as a nursing student. How do you communicate to a patient that doesn't want to be a patient? How do you talk to a physician that has ordered something that you disagree with? How do you talk to another nurse when you really, really need help right now and you know they're also busy? How do you just communicate to your fellow human beings? So this is really important, that it doesn't mean that you have to be a really chatty person or a really extroverted person. It may come easier and it may not. But bottom line, if you do not thrive on interpersonal reactions and social situations, that is okay. And you can actually still be an excellent nurse with excellent communication skills. So don't let that be a barrier to you, and don't think, well, I'm kind of shy or I'm an introvert, so this isn't really going to be for me. You can still do it, and you can actually still be excellent at it. So that wraps up our tips and tricks for thriving in nursing school. Just remember, nursing school, everybody's aware of this, it's a lot, and there's a lot going on. Being kind to one another while you're in class and while you're in clinical sounds very cliche, but it really does go a long way. Support each other. If you need a lot of help, or if you need a little bit of help, don't be afraid to ask for it. I know we all say don't be afraid to ask for help, but it can be hard, and it can be difficult to recognize when you really do need help. So if you're struggling and you think, well, everybody said nursing school was going to be hard, so I guess I'm struggling and this is nursing school being hard. Well, that's also a time to ask for help, to ask for some support. Talk to your faculty members, talk to your friends, talk to your support circle, and ask for help when you really do need it. And then be kind to yourself. You get a lot of scores and grades and feedback in nursing school and school in general. And it's not always 100% positive, but keep in mind, you didn't come to nursing school knowing how to be a nurse. You're going to get feedback that says, hey, you didn't quite hit it this time. You didn't quite get it right this time, or you could improve here. And while we got to kind of swallow our pride for just a second there, take that feedback and think, okay, well, that's why I'm in nursing school, is to learn where I need to enhance my learning and where I need to focus a little bit more. So be kind to yourself, don't beat yourself up, and recognize that many people have been through this before you, and many of us have had a hard time, and I don't think any of us had an easy time through nursing school, but it really can be enjoyable at times, and it can lead to the most amazing career, which is practicing as a nurse.